Welcome to the Everyday Awesome Project, where we bring you inspirational stories and game-changing strategies to live your most awesome life. Hey, superstars, welcome back. Polly here.
And Sam Pruitt. What's up, beautiful humans? Did you miss us?
Woohoo! Yes. And by that, what Samantha's referring to is, so you just came back from a world championship in Nice, France, and you're coming back from traveling the world, and we haven't done one of these like live and in person in a couple of weeks, so we've been missing each other. So you guys are in for a little treat here. Yeah.
Exactly. And you took on a massive new project, and you've been running around like a Tasmanian devil, getting shit done, crushing it.
Mhm.
So here we are today. We missed each other and we missed this connection time that we have, but we also missed just talking to the world. And so much has happened in that time period. It's kind of mind-boggling.
No.
Several evolutions have happened. That's
Right.
why we look so disheveled right now.
Well, one of the things we were going to talk about, and so just to kind of confirm, you have clicked on this. If you're listening to it, yes, the episode we'll get into is saying yes to a satisfying life. But
That's what we're going to talk about today.
That's what we're going to talk about. But first, we're going to talk about a few other things.
So stay tuned if you want to say yes to a satisfying life.
Yeah, which is super, I think, just one of our core beliefs, like you and I share at a core, and it's how we live our life. But one of the things I just want to say, I can hear my own how my voice sounds to myself, and I can hear my stuffed upness. So you're here, I'm coming to this episode with after a few days of just being a little knocked out by a little bug, and it's still living up in my brain. And so that's what some of that is. And I told Samantha, I was like, I'm not exactly camera ready right now. So it's like,
same.
Just film it. And when you don't have the energy for all those things and the frills, it's like, just show up, man. Just show up.
Yeah. And I just got back from traveling 2 weeks, time change. I came back with a cold too from all the insane travel and lack of sleep. And then I immediately attempted to jump back into my Ironman training. So I just got out of the pool, and this is just how it is. This is who we are in the world. We're messy, we're busy, we're just living life. We say yes. We say yes, dude. That's exactly why we're talking about this today, is because we're so passionate about saying yes in our own lives. And we really want to impart to the audience what we mean by that. So what do we mean by saying yes?
Yeah. So, what that is, it's not the opposite of saying no. I mean, and where we find saying yes is one of the things I picture is like how you and I, or how I look at the world, and I think you might agree, is like if there's a bell curve in life where people fall, like, oh, the average weight or the average height of people or the average whatever earning income kind of thing. You and I are the outliers. Like we the bell curve has a peak in the middle, and that's where everybody else falls. And then there's like little tiny groups of people that are in the two ends or whatever. And I think what a lot of our life and our mission and who we are in the world and why we have this podcast platform is to invite people out of the middle. Like get out of the middle and get out where the fruit is on the end of the tree. Like go pick the fruit. And that's where you and I find satisfaction in this. And it's like we're inviting you to say yes to things that not everybody's saying yes to, right? The middle of the road is like, oh, this and that. And yes is just anything that's unknown, anything that's new. And I don't mean like you were saying, like, oh, you've tried shrimp tacos, well, you should try fish tacos, where it's like a little bit.
That's not what we mean, people.
What would you add to that? How would you say, what is saying yes? You've got some good examples.
Yeah, I mean, it's in a lot of areas of our lives that we come up against this question. So it could be in saying yes or no to experiences, to adventures, to challenges. It could be to jobs or career paths. It could be to people, relationships, connection. There's so many areas where the question is asked of ourselves. Yeah. Do we stay inside the comfort zone of what is known and what has been? Or do we say yes to something new? I mean, really, that's the essence. Do we say yes?
And sometimes it shows up as like personal invitations or professional invitations, a job offer,
Hmm.
hey, come to this party, or hey, we're starting this group, or whatever, something like that. Or somebody's like, hey, do you want to travel to XYZ or whatever? And sometimes it's smaller little things, right? But there's still places in our life where we might be holding ourselves back, right? And so, maybe this is a good time for me to insert the definition of satisfaction, because I think we're
Yeah.
going to talk a lot about it. So I'm just going to if you guys have listened to our episodes before, I'm a big fan of definitions and we're the root of words and stuff. So you kind of knew this was coming, right? So,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, they did.
So satisfaction is the fulfillment of one's wishes, expectations, or needs, or the pleasure derived from this.
Ooh.
That's a good word, pleasure derived from this, right?
Ooh. And if you think about the variety of areas of your life, departments of your life called living, you know, at some junction, you should, and we're going to encourage you, of course, to take inventory and measurement of your satisfaction in these different areas.
Hmm.
You know, how do you feel about your physical health? How do you feel about your emotional health? How do you feel about your relationships? Maybe your partnership? How do you feel about your job or your career path?
Hmm.
How do you
Hmm.
feel about where you live and, kind of your day-to-day activities? Is there satisfaction in those areas of your life, or is there dissatisfaction?
And I would add to that also in who you're being, so
Mm.
like, are you satisfied
Within
with
yourself.
who you're being in the world, right? And your expression of that is absolutely, like you said, it shows up in your relationships, the work that you do, that all these things. And it's like, and at the core of all these places that you express yourself is you. Like, you take you with you everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Are you satisfied with who you're being and who you've become? And, or are you settling? Are you, like, it's good enough, or, and one of the things I like about this word of satisfaction is it ties in wishes, expectations, needs. It's like potential, the possibility that lives inside the seed that you were birthed with from your soul, from wherever you want to look at it. It's like
Mm.
we all have a different trajectory. We all have a different possibility and potentiality. And some of us are supposed to grow to a certain height and some of us aren't. Some of us are supposed to live in a certain area and some of us aren't. Or, but like there's some finite things about our physical body, but then we also can constrict ourselves. That famous story of, Roger Bannister ran the 5 minute mile, when up to that point, nobody had ever
Nobody.
run faster,
Mhm.
right? So the whole planet, all the history of people never thought that you could run a 5 minute mile. It just wasn't
That's right.
in the mental structure. Like, oh, you can't do it, right? And then this guy does it, right? Go to the moon, do whatever, do all these things. So you
Now
don't have to.
everybody's doing it.
No, everybody's doing well that, and then
Like
that
going out
becomes
for
the
brunch.
middle.
Oh, we're going to the moon today.
And you definitely see people. It's like you and I watched that documentary on that guy. I was like, I'm going to do an Ironman in Antarctica, and I was like, what the heck?
You can't
He's
do that, but can you?
but can you? It's
But
like
can
quite an undertaking, right? And so that was his potentiality. He didn't even know it, right? But like that
exactly.
seed got put into his mind. Like he looks at the world and your experiences of life, and you're like, well, maybe I can't do that, or no. And so saying yes is like finding within yourself what is satisfying to you, both as living as a human being and a spirit and a personality. It's like, are you satisfied with who you're being? And if not, can you make some adjustments? Or if you're not satisfied, like you said, in a relationship or in a job or the people you're hanging around with or the money you're earning or whatever it is, like what can you say yes to as a new invitation or a possibility that you create or gets created or put in front of you as well?
I want to add two things.
Please.
There is nothing that infuriates me more than when somebody says good enough.
Yeah.
OMG. I want to literally jump out of my chair and lose it. Like that makes me crazy. And I had a business partner that used to say that. And of course, we're not business partners anymore. No,
Yeah.
quality of a work ethic, not on the same
Mhm.
level. But the point is,
Yeah.
like that saying that is settling.
Mhm.
Settling within yourself, settling within your experience, what you're either providing to others or the
Mhm.
universe, or, you know, that's insane.
Yeah.
And so I also want to speak to the flip coin of that is, and you and I, hear from a lot of humans, because we're in the coaching business, that there are plenty of people, and we understand this, that don't feel worthy
Mm,
or able,
mm,
or feel like they need permission, or feel like there's some other limiting factor within their belief system that makes saying yes really uncomfortable, or they might even perceive as impossible.
mhm.
And we're here to say what? Nope.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
You
it's better to fail than to never know
not
the
have tried.
taste.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure. And I think we want to touch, maybe now is a good time to touch upon regret, right?
That's
Right.
another one.
So tell us how regret weaves into this if we don't go for satisfaction or potentiality. What are we left with, right?
Well, if you're just going around in this very comfort zone way of being, right? Following the comfortable path, the known
Right.
path, doing the same routines, talking to the same people, going to the same places, doing all of the same things within that comfort zone bubble,
Yeah.
then you will at some point, you can't hide from this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It will find you. You
Yeah.
will at some point have regret. It could be in one area of your life, like I never pursued music or art. I never, pursued the love of my life because I stayed with the high
Mhm.
school boyfriend. Yes, I'm
Mhm.
talking to many of you out there, or girlfriend. There's so many ways that we hold ourselves back, and then we get towards the end of your life, and you
Yeah.
start to really look backwards and say, wow,
Yeah.
that didn't really work, but I did it anyway. It
Yeah.
didn't give me satisfaction, but I did it anyway.
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
point of this life?
And that's it. I think that's where you and I are like, come out on the edges, come out from just, the safe, secure life, that
Mhm.
middle road, because you never know what's out there. One of the things that in my study of hypnosis, I learned a lot about the mind and how it works. And you may have heard this before, your comfort zone is your dead zone, right? It's where your spirit goes to die, right? It's like, well, if I just live around, so I define the comfort zone as what you've known, you've experienced, you've read about, heard about, seen about, and your mind makes up stuff too. It's like we were talking before this podcast, it's like, oh, look at there's a hippo. And it's like, oh, wait, the mind goes, oh, wait, rhinoceros, that looks like a rhinoceros. Oh, rhinoceroses are bad, could kill me. Okay, hippos are bad. It could kill me, right? And it just makes stuff up sometimes. It's completely
Yeah.
not, it's like,
Radical assumptions.
right. Especially, we do this and we see this, I think, in radical belief systems, radical racism, sexism, where people
Mhm.
create these just made up. They can either inherit them. I call it an inherited conversation. It's the chosen, this is just how we do it. Like, the culture is this way. You see this in caste systems, like families, handing down their beliefs, generation to generation. It's like, blow that shit up, right? So the mind has the 2 million-year-old brain, the way it evolves is to keep you safe and keep you alive, to perpetuate species. So that's what we believe right now, anyway. So you have this old mammalian part of your brain that is like seeking out nothing new, does not want
Mhm.
anything nouveau or change. It's like, nope, keep it safe. This is known. This will keep the body alive. Okay, great. Not going to make you happy. It'll keep you in that comfort zone. So if we bump up against it, that's all it is just
Mhm.
what's known, right? You have no, like people who never travel outside of their city or out of their country or, meet new and interesting people or try different foods, right? It's like, or try a new restaurant or go try a different exercise class that you've never done. It's like you, you, you either bump up against so one of the things you and I were saying before we recorded this is like, you have that pain of the fear, that initial, don't know. What if it goes bad? What if they don't like me?
What if,
Whatever.
what if, what if, what if, what if?
And then, weigh that against the possibility of that regret that you could feel. Like, what if I always live my life never leaving the town that I'm in, or never trying amazing foods, or meeting new people or stuff? Like, what kind of a life do you want? What is satisfying to you? Right?
Yeah. Well, at the core of it for me is that I want all people, including myself, to live to their full potential. And that requires self exploration and personal growth.
Mhm.
And how in the hell could I get any growth or exploration or development, discovery,
Yeah.
about myself and the world I live in if I don't do new things, different things.
Hmm.
If I
Hmm.
don't have different conversations or try different food or try different career paths,
Yeah.
try different sports, travel to
Yeah.
different places. There's so much opportunity. It's a rich, incredibly rich world full of opportunity for growth and development.
Hmm.
And I mean, I just feed off of it, but I see humans also thrive in that way. And
Yeah.
it is kind of crazy and messy. I mean, it can be brutally painful, but it's also fucking hilarious and
Yeah.
fun and insane. Like there's so
Hmm.
much that goes with it. The whole swath of emotions,
Hmm. That
that
juice
come
of
with it.
life. Yeah.
The juice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can always have, the same meal every day, the same people in your life, the same job, like, there's not a lot of juice to life. And I think, and we just came back from France, the joie de vivre, it's like the joy of life, like living of life is finding those things that are satisfying to you and going out and doing them. And guess what? The brain very quickly, when it tries something new, it becomes known and then it's no longer satisfying. It's like, oh, I got that, right? It's kind of like if you ate the same meal every day. But if you go out and you have like I was just talking with somebody who I remember they're like, oh, we had this trip that we took and we went to this fancy restaurant in Seattle and had this one of a kind steak that's only served in like 4 places in the entire world. And I said, yeah, and if you had that restaurant in your town and you could eat and afford that every week, like suddenly you'd be like, that's just lunch or dinner, it'd be like, it doesn't feel that specialness, right? So
Exactly.
finding that.
Exactly. And I was sharing with you some funny stories about, the group I was working with and traveling with and producing this event. And one gal kept every day ordering Caesar salad. Like she literally survived for 10 days off Caesar salad. And
Yeah.
at the end, I was like, I refuse to let you order another Caesar salad. We're in Monaco, for God's sake. Please order something different. Or even me going
Mhm.
into a normal restaurant, we were all with a group, so a comfort zone. And I just walked in and looked at the menu. And I was like, I can't eat here. Of course, there's food on the menu I can eat here. I will not eat here. I need to have an experience outside of the box. So I'm going to go pursue something different and found this amazing. And it wasn't like it was a lavish, crazy meal,
Mhm.
but it was something totally different that I'd never had in an environment I'd never been in, like all of those things. And I
Mhm.
just felt so much joy
Mhm.
from
Mhm.
having that moment,
Right, right. And it's
alive,
that
alive.
pick that I find, and one of the things we were talking about, and so we've talked a little bit about the fears and stuff. So we might come back to that, but it's just so wanting me to talk about into the steps. And it's like some of how you and I have developed, let's say, the muscles or the habits
Mm.
of doing this is because we've taken smaller leaps, bigger leaps, seen the bumps and the bruise. It's kind of like when you're raising a child, if you feather their nest the whole way and they never fall down and get up or bump into things or whatever, then they don't know what's capable, what they're like, oh, you've got to learn how to pick yourself back up, right? Or oh,
Mhm.
that didn't work out, well, that's okay, all right, you that's how you learn and grow. Like we don't come into this world knowing everything. I heard this podcast once, Alex Hermosi, who I think has some brilliant ideas sometimes. He said, and he was a little bit about like if there was a creator in life, which I don't know that he believes, what he's like, if there was a creator in life, do you think that they would help the human species learn patience, appreciation, satisfaction by making it easy? Or would they
Nope.
introduce things to be impatient about so you could practice patience, or
Mhm.
things to
Mhm.
moments of not, not having things that you appreciate? Like you just went in, you just talked about how coming back from being in another country, the satisfaction of like coming back to your old routine and the home,
Oh,
and how much
yeah.
you appreciate it, right? It's when we go and we get outside of those comfort zones, if you will, and we come back and we go, this feels good. Not like stay in it forever, but you get out of it. You say yes to the experience of something. And maybe you go, you know what? I want to start having that food that I learned about over there, and I want to start having it in my life here, right?
Eggplant caviar. Did you even know it was a thing?
Didn't know it was a thing.
I'm telling you. And
Yeah.
this olive oil, I was like, can you send me 12 cases of this to my house immediately? I mean, it's like handpicked from these. What is happening? I wanted to just literally take the bottle and guzzle it down.
Totally.
It's all of those experiences, those saying yes to new experiences, that we build resilience, but also a multitude of skill sets.
Mm,
Like, dude, you are the most nimble fox I know. Like,
mm,
literally, you can go into any work or life environment, and be able to navigate it gracefully, communicate, assess, adapt, and work your way through the trials and tribulations.
mhm.
That is not something that you were just born with,
Right.
right? Those are
Right.
skills you've honed your entire life by continuing to jump into the arena.
Yeah.
Sure, somebody's ready to, get at you. Like, you're in the arena. It's going to get messy and bloody and
Yeah.
sweaty, but
Yeah.
you dip and dive.
Mhm,
You just learn, like, that's where the muscles are built. It's
mm,
so incredibly powerful to be
mhm.
that human in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, what you're touching upon is one of my favorite words these days. And I just think that as a coach, you and I would, as a coach, I think I have, in my 10 whatever years of coaching people, I have seen that resourcefulness is one of the biggest assets a human being can have in the world because there is no constant. In a world where there is no constant, there is only change. Being resourceful is adaptable. So here's the definition. Let me just throw this in. Definition of
Yeah,
resourcefulness:
do
the
it.
ability to find quick and clever ways, I love that, clever ways to overcome difficulties.
Like a
Right?
fox.
Like a fox. Like if you have that in your back pocket, you're like, whatever you throw at me, it might punch me in the face. I might get a black eye, but like, all right, I'll learn. I'll get up, stand up, dust myself off and like, okay. Or, you know, this is a little bit of a construction reference. I've been doing a lot of construction, and I think you'll laugh at this. So, I was doing this work this summer with a subcontractor, this guy, and we were working on this Victorian house, right? And so, imagine in a Victorian house that's been around for like 100 years, and we're like, oh, let's take up the flooring or let's open this up or whatever. You're gonna find some stuff that you didn't count on, right?
Hmm.
And so all of a sudden we'd find ourselves in, just strange scenarios where it's like, oh, suddenly we feel like we've gone into this world of like, what's going on here? And at one point, I don't know if you've ever been to these they're called escape rooms. They're these
Okay.
places where you go in and they have little puzzles and they have like maybe 30 minutes or an hour or whatever. And all around the room are designed little puzzles, and you get one piece to start, and they give you like chicken scratch information and you're like, what the heck? And you start to touch the walls and look for things that come out. Oh, there's another clue, right? And so you
Wow.
find your way through these little escape rooms trying to get out of the room is the idea, right?
Okay.
But you have to work as a team, and you get a little puzzle, and then you go, I wonder if this key works in that, and then you try it in like three different places where there's lock, just like but it's fun, it's challenging. It's like, oh, and so we'd be working on this Victorian house, and all of a sudden we'd stop and we go, oh my God, we're in another escape room. Like, oh my God, here's a little challenge we have to figure out to get to the next thing, and just, little, and
Nice.
that's how life, I think from all of my decades of traveling, especially being an RV driver and owner and a woman on the road by myself, it's
Oh,
like,
troubleshooting left and right. I mean, guns a blazing as you're going down the road 80 miles an hour in your toaster on wheels. I love it.
with no destination. It's like,
Exactly.
there's no, scripted everything, whatever. And I have now, and we've adapted ourselves to be resourceful, to strengthen those muscles of
Hmm.
so like I think things that you and I would say people would just be like, they cry in their soup or they get all emotional about it. And I'm like, well, damn, that sucks. Okay. All right. Next, so, one of my favorite, I
Totally.
said this in the last podcast, is like, okay, that's what's so what? Now what? Right? What am I going to do
Mhm.
about it? Right? Like I never love people who bring all the past history of like, oh, this is how this happened. I'm like, who
So what?
cares? If that's going to help us in the
What
future,
now?
yeah.
What
What now?
now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
So,
think I really developed those muscles from two things. One is being an event producer,
oh
and
God.
all of the events that I have produced are large scale sporting events with humans, safety risks, time constraints, all of these like peril and
Yeah.
shenanigans and
Yeah.
whatever, and being able to continuously like talk about being nimble mentally, emotionally, and
Problem
physically,
solving and
problem
yeah.
solving nonstop. And obviously I thrive in that environment, and I continue to do that to this day. So like the example of just coming from France, you know, Ironman World Championship team, French World Championship team Nice, so working side by side with the French team, and then us having to constantly like navigate so many things. It was just a barrage of things nonstop for 10 days in order to produce a world-class sporting event for thousands of people and keep them safe, right? Like, so the millions of decisions and actions that had to happen.
Yeah.
I wasn't born with that. Like, I developed that over years. And then the other thing for sure is ultra running. I mean, ultra running taught me
Talking about the rails going off the
everything will go wrong. Not can it or could it, it will. It's a matter of when. And what in the hell are you going to do about it?
yeah. Yeah.
What are you
Adventure
going to do about
racing, you know, us
it?
being
And
adventure
adventure racing.
racer. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen,
Getting
it's just a
lost.
matter of when.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the muscles, the resiliency, the skill set, all of these things we're talking about, in order to navigate through that, you won't develop those muscles. And by saying yes to putting ourselves with great intention into these choices of jobs, career paths, opportunities, physical challenges, races, whatever. I mean, also, you know, public speaking, all of this, everything we do that's slightly
Risky.
risky,
Yeah.
right? It takes courage to say yes to those things. But by the fact that we've continued to, and we also surround ourselves with people, by the way, who do that.
Yeah.
Those are our peers and our mentors, and that's the place that we like to play.
A team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we're not feeling it. Maybe we are feeling a little unsure or underprepared or whatever, scared. But because we have this community of people who are like-minded and like-spirited, we have support. That's huge too. You
You know,
know?
and I think one of the things I want to touch back on is, as you say that, is you know, where did I maybe start, or maybe this might resonate for you, or where I think, you know, if anyone's listening to this, you might have some of these. And I definitely see it when I bump up to people that don't have resourcefulness, or I don't feel like they have a strong resourcefulness muscle. They're typically still holding on to two traits that I think I had to transform. And I wonder if it was for you. One is perfectionism, right? So the need for things to be perfect, everything to line up, you know, that kind of a way of living, however you want to look at that. And the other is control,
Ah.
right? Like trying to control all the scenarios, the what ifs and stuff like that. And it's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's exhausting. Set all that shit down, right?
Exhausting.
Yeah. So it's like when you let go of those two old patterns and beliefs and you begin to believe in yourself. Remember I was saying like how do you see yourself or your way of being? When you can step into, you know what, no matter what, like whatever age you're at, if you've made it to that age, you're probably pretty resourceful. Like you've gotten through some stuff in this life, right?
Right.
However small your box you're making it, or however big a playground you're playing in, you've figured some stuff out by now, right? And so we're just asking you to keep applying that, let go of whatever limitations may be holding you back, or you know, not saying yes to things that would be more satisfying. You know, where are you putting the constraints, or I would say the you that's listening to this is not the you that does that, it's your mind that does it, right? So you listen and tune into the mind saying, don't do it, you might look bad, don't do it, you know, whatever. And instead go, okay, so, you know, because you're brilliant at that. I mean, you are my favorite model for who cares what it looks like, who cares, you know, like
Yeah, I
no
don't have
fucks.
that perfectionist thing. When you said that, I almost laughed out loud, and then I bit my. I mean, didn't have the perfectionist thing. Fear of failure, sure, I had to overcome that, and only by overcoming that through failing repeatedly.
Yeah.
I mean, face in the freaking dirt, borderline dead, chaotic. I mean, just so much failure, and failure in business, and failure in like relationships, failure. Okay, maybe I mastered that shit. Okay, so I don't have any fear of that. I actually have zero fear of that. I
Mm,
could care less.
mm,
Like what someone else is going to perceive of me and my success or failure in a certain thing
mm,
is none of my business. It's
mm,
apparently theirs. Like
mm,
I just have no attachment to that. So that just comes from a lifetime of failing, right? And I like things messy. I like things a little chaotic. I do have some control stuff,
mhm,
you
mhm.
know, but I'm a human being.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think you hit it on the head when you said earlier about the event production. I mean, talk about an environment where like it's never the same every day. It's not we're making widgets day in, day out. We're just stamping the things, right? It's like every day, even if you have a multi-day event, it's different. No
Completely.
two events this year, that last year, different people, different all
Different
environment, all
environment, different weather,
yeah, yeah.
different team
Maybe different
to produce
location.
the thing, different
Yeah,
location,
yeah,
different tools of the trade,
yeah, yeah.
different all the things.
And what didn't change, evolved, I would say, but didn't change was you believing in you.
Yes, 100%. So it's
So
that self-belief.
yeah,
It's that self-trust.
yeah, yeah,
Will I be able to figure this shit out?
yeah,
Put me in the frying pan.
yeah,
Will I be able to make
yeah.
something happen, magic happen?
And I want to throw a little woo-woo in this, and that's also trusting that the universe will help you
Mm,
with it. It's
mhm.
like, I think some of what stifles that over controlling or that over perfection mindset is not recognizing the game, the dance that you're in with something that's greater than you, right? And so
Yeah.
when we just think it's all up to me, like I gotta like win all this thing called life, let me control all the scenarios or the what ifs. It's like, good,
How hilarious is that, by the way?
how is that possible, right? No.
How that's total lunacy. I love
Yeah.
that word lunacy. Total lunacy.
And
Okay.
it's hilarious. That's your second favorite. That's your first favorite, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Oh.
just the idea that you have to figure it out and the fact that even when we fail,
Mm,
I do have a belief still that, oh, the universe wanted that to happen. There's
mhm,
a reason. There's a greater reason
mhm,
for me being here, doing
mhm,
whatever the hell I'm doing, and whatever circumstances
mhm,
came to pass.
mhm,
Right.
mm. Yeah.
And so the winning, the losing, the failing, all of the things that are judged by society, really, what do they mean?
Oh, yeah.
Whose
It's
standards are these? They mean nothing.
whose life is this anyway, right?
Totally. Totally.
Yeah. Well, are you sleepwalking through a life you don't even want, or are you satisfied and living a joyful life that maybe is messy, maybe is not, doesn't look like other people's, and you and I are the queens of that. It's like, yeah, it doesn't look like yours. Okay. But are we satisfied? Are you enjoying pursuing, falling sometimes down head first and getting back up, or having huge periods of growth and not knowing and learning and it sucks for a while. Like that's a little bit of every race that you get into, right? Is, my Ironman journey. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
How many times have you walked away from something that was comfortable and known in the absolute knowing that you have no idea
Yeah.
what's going to happen next? Marriages,
Yeah.
well, boyfriends,
Jobs,
friends,
marriages, yeah.
marriages,
Locations,
jobs,
living
where
places.
we've lived.
Hmm.
I mean, it's hundreds of things,
Hmm.
hundreds of opportunities that every human over the
Hmm.
course of their lifetime has. And so the listener maybe can do a personal inventory for themselves.
Hmm.
Are there places in their life that they're still hanging out because it's good enough? That's a question.
Yeah, that's not really satisfying. And I think, one of the things that I don't know why I've been thinking about this more, but it's not morbidity. I'm not like thinking about death, but I'm
Mhm.
bumping up against thoughts that help me appreciate now so much more, and it's like I was listening to something, I forget who, I think it was like an Oprah interview, and they were talking about, yeah, it was that her and the author I'm sorry, I can't remember their book, forgive me, but they were talking about if life didn't, if you could wave a magic wand and have a life that never ended, would you? Or would you always want it to have a expiration, right? And even Oprah, with all the power, money, influence, whatever she has, she's like, I'm not saying you have to listen to Oprah, but it's like, she was like, no, I want it to end because you get up to stuff. You like, you make this one precious, right? You realize if I can just go on and on and on, oh yeah, I'll get to that. Like none of us would do anything.
I'll get to that. That's almost as bad as saying good enough.
Good enough.
I'll
Yeah.
get to that. What the hell does that mean? I mean, we're not going to be as physically or mentally fit as we are when we're
No.
younger, when we're
Yeah.
older. So, okay, if I want to climb Everest, I don't, but whatever. I have a lot of things on the bucket list. I get stepping up the mountain while you're healthy and fit. But this goes for so many things, writing a book, pursuing a great relationship, go traveling the world. Like you've been exceptional at that, always traveling and exploring new cultures.
Mhm.
I
And
mean, you might do that when you're 90, but it's going to be a different experience than it is now, right?
and I think we all have our own passport to life, and it's, what
Mhm.
our stamps look like and what satisfies us. If your passport to life is a deep, rich family and community and it's local and you never have to leave, so be it. If that's truly satisfying, right? Back to the word is like your wishes, fulfillment of your wishes, your expectations, your innermost desires that your soul came in with. And if you're pushing them off or
Mm.
putting them off or postponing them until this like second life that you think you get, which you don't get by,
You
spoiler
don't get a
alert,
do-over?
spoiler alert. Yeah. No, it's like, this is it. So I've been having this little head cold and, there's one of my favorite quotes is, someone who has their health has many dreams, millions of dreams,
Mm.
so many dreams. But when you don't have your health, you have but one. And so as I have been faced with not having my health optimal for the last few days, I'm like, oh damn, as soon as I'm healthy, I gotta get, I gotta, what's happening, as soon as, and it's like, especially like, oh, if there's a, I was like, oh, is this my thyroid? What could this be? And then I was like, I gotta, make these trips that I've wanted to take in real time, in newer time, not just postponing them and putting them off. So I'm saying yes to, okay, hey, I don't know how that's going to happen or when it's whatever, but I'm like, okay, that's a yes for that thing that, people who at the end of their life, they have those, make a wish kind of things. Like give yourself that, for God's sake, like make your own wish and fulfill it for yourself. Right.
I get asked a lot after all these years of, fitness and endurance sports and just doing what I do for a living, why do I do it? Like what keeps me
Yeah.
motivated? Okay. First of all, I'm not motivated. I'm driven. So anyway, those are two different things, different conversation. But my response has always been the same. And it really is because at the end of the day, if I stay healthy and fit mentally, physically, spiritually, and any one of my friends anywhere in the world calls me and says, hey, I got this great adventure. Do you want to go? I say, yes.
Mhm.
I don't want to be like, well, I'm not really fit enough to go do the thing. So if you give me 9 months or a year, maybe I can get it together. No, I don't. I say, yes. The answer is yes. And then I just figure out the rest. But I know that I have the physical capabilities and I'm nimble enough and adaptable enough to go do the thing. I don't want to
Mhm.
miss out on a freaking fun opportunity
Mhm.
ever.
Mhm.
No, I don't
Be
want to do it.
prepared. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think one of the things we wanted to leave people with is, like what are the steps? Like how do you begin to say yes in your life? So maybe as you've been listening to us, there's something that
Write it
you,
on your hand. Tattoo it right here. I'm
you
sorry.
know, maybe there's something that's already been like poking at you or popping up in your mind that's been put on the shelf, or you're uber aware, like, oh, I've been settling, I've been making good enough with this relationship, this job, this body, this whatever. So it's
Mhm.
like, I would say that one of the first steps I find, because when we get in our thoughts, right? Naturally, we go up to the brain, right? We go up to the mind and it's like, oh, what's going on out there? What do we think about this? Like, if I'm going to weigh the pros and cons of should I say yes or should I no or postpone or whatever, we go into the world of limitation of our mind. And
Mhm.
then just
We
saying,
make shit up.
well, the brain does that a
We
lot.
make up stories. We make shit up.
Yeah, the brain is, yeah. So the brain, again, that comfort zone lives in the space of the mind. It doesn't live out in the world. There's no boogeymen in places that you want to go, or, bad things are always going to happen to whatever. It's like that lives in your mind, the context of your mind. So the first step is like examining that thought, that belief, the context that it first tells you. It's like, oh, well, maybe that wouldn't go so well, or oh, they wouldn't like this, or oh, that would be hard for me. Oh, okay, well, just examine it, right? Like you, that is you, your soul, step back from that and go, my favorite Byron Katie, is that true?
Mhm.
Is that even fucking true? Like most of the time, it's not like true.
99% of the time, it is not true.
And what does she say? How do you absolutely know that it's true? Guess what? You don't. You
Mhm.
don't.
Mhm.
So first step is like
You know how you
examining,
can find out though? Do it anyway.
do it.
And then you'll be like, it wasn't true.
Totally. The thing that I thought
Blow
was
your own
true.
mind. It wasn't true.
Exactly. Exactly. Like Ironman, I wouldn't have told you that I could have done a half Ironman. My 20s would be like, oh, for God's sake, those people are crazy. Here I am, 52 years old out, 9 hours later,
Mm.
coming in the finish line.
Dude, I have to tell you this very quick Ironman story because obviously I'm training for a full Ironman right now in a couple months, 7 weeks or whatever it is. And I'm standing helping to produce this world championship in Nice. So it's the women's race. The best females are from around the globe are racing.
Wow.
And coming out of the swim, I'm standing swim exit, we're part of the protection. We do all these things. So I'm standing out. So I'm literally witnessing all of these women, the pros
Yeah.
and everybody coming, exiting the water. And up the ramp comes a blind athlete and her guide.
I've seen this.
And I'm like, I mean, I know we have challenge athletes and I know many of them and I have witnessed them, but for some reason, this just absolutely, I could have just dropped down on the floor. Probably because I'm training in the open water swim is
Oh,
what like a nemesis for me. It's like one of the
yes.
hardest things for me to overcome
Yes.
personally. And I'm watching this blind swimmer get out of the water and I'm thinking she just swam 2.4 miles in the open water with her eyes closed. How in the hell did she do this? And I mean, I just was so blown away.
Yeah.
And for me, it was so beautiful, incredibly beautiful. But then also, it really immediately like shook me to the core about my own stories and belief system around me and my open water swim and all of my anxiety and shenanigans and stories. Right. And I was like, I got this.
Yeah.
Now I'm just seeing myself as an expert of that because I
Um,
can see my way forward. And
yeah.
if this blind athlete can navigate her way through, who in the hell am I to have this
Right.
crazy story
Right.
limiting belief?
Right.
Unbelievable. Or even witnessing you and your journey in your race. And
Yeah.
listen, by the way, if we don't say yes to showing up and bearing witness to others,
Yeah.
we should also add what a critical element that is to our
Mm,
personal growth.
mm,
Bear
mm.
witness to others doing the most amazing things with their lives.
Yeah.
Seek them out, search them out, befriend them,
Yeah.
be connected to them, be in the
Yeah.
space
Yeah.
because you will see what's possible.
And I think the fine line that I will just add to that is the way you told that story is so beautiful and elegant and inspiring in so many ways. And I think the fine line that people sometimes, and I've done, we get into the comparison game. We get
Mhm.
into that fine line of like, they can't, I can't, or they're but whatever, or the comparing on social media and stuff. And it's just like only compare if it inspires. Only
Mhm.
like you get inspired by something and then you check in with yourself. You've got one lane. This is your lane. You're not in their lane. They're running their race. You run your race. If seeing that blind woman inspires you to like go, "Oh, totally do this. Fantastic, right? But
Yeah.
don't let it go, oh my God, I'm such a lame ass. Just notice
Yeah.
those fine tunings that the mind is tricky. it's tricky, tricky.
I didn't. I immediately went to what is possible for a human being.
Yeah.
And I had the honor of bearing witness to an impossible possible moment, right? And it was so cool. And I think those exist all around us as well,
Yeah.
right?
Wow. 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 I love
Yeah,
it. I love it.
cool.
Yeah. So just like anything that you think is real or your mind's made up, or just remember, like, is that true?
Is that true?
How do you know absolutely know it's true, right?
Exactly.
And then the next is like one of the things we talked about is like, would your future self appreciate the decision that you're making? Yes or no, whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm,
Or would it turn into a pity party of regret?
mm-hmm,
Like, damn, I didn't do that thing, right? I didn't make that choice that I had an opportunity to make. I could have reached out and done that thing, right?
mm-hmm,
So let that be some of the barometer that you start to weigh the things that are important or satisfying, or these little micro decisions and macro decisions that you have to make is that would that be satisfying? Would I be like satisfied knowing I had done that? Or is that a hell no? Like there's hell no's in the world, right? We're not saying everything is we're not saying say yes to everything.
Oh, no. We are solid about saying no to things that do not work for us. We are the boundary queens. This is
Totally.
not that at all.
Totally.
I was just thinking about a critical say yes moment.
Hmm.
I had a flashback of I didn't even know what ultra running was. I was a freaking triathlete doing, swimming, biking, running around in circles with my spandex on, right? And a personal trainer and that kind of stuff. But I went to a triathlon race, and where I happened to stay,
Hmm.
the female who checked me into the bed and breakfast, I said, I'm doing this triathlon, blah, blah, blah. And we just start chatting. And she's like, have you ever heard of ultra running and all these things? So she blew my brain just standing there having a conversation and said, I'm going to Egypt to help produce a adventure, a ultra run across the desert for 7 days. And I was like, yes, can I get in your bag? Like, how do I do this? How do I do it? I don't know what this is. I literally have no idea. I hadn't even
Yeah.
Googled it. I literally
Yeah.
had zero information except for what this human was telling me.
Mhm.
And there you go. I said yes, it happened. And the whole trajectory of my life turned a
And
360 in that
well,
moment.
well, what I just want to point out to you, I just want to give context to what you just shared is so when your body lights up like that,
Mm,
and that's the moment we're saying say yes to.
that's right. That's right.
Like your body is telling you, it's sending you a signal, oh my God, this is important
It
to me.
lights you up.
It lights you up. That is your source coming through you and saying, I'm a yes for that. I'm a hell yes for that. We're not saying say yes to things that you're like, no, I would never do that. Totally. You and I have those. We don't do those things, right? But if it's like, oh my God, like your body lit up, led you to that, say yes to it and then figure the rest out, right? Like
Mhm.
like for me, I my RV story, like I was um but, so a little bit of the story, I had been to uh, Fiji and I met this woman who this was pre-van life, hashtag fucking van life, like, this is like
Pre-Instagram and Facebook.
pre
What
all
the
this
hell?
stuff.
We didn't know what anything was. We're
Yeah. So
just flying around.
I'm at this amazing Tony Robbins event. This gal starts telling me, yeah, I have this RV and I did it. And I was just like mind blown, like you're talking about. I was just like, how do I do that?
Exactly.
That light, right? And so came home and had a couple of things fallen, I was like, didn't know how. I was like, oh my God, if I could so do that. And in the next 6 months, within 6 months, I owned one, like just, I was like, okay, now my mind has been open to that. I know I'm a yes for that and went for it. And didn't all pan out perfect. I didn't plan for it I mean, I love people who like figure all this stuff out in advance. Great. But you and I are like, and life is happening and you need to get on with it. Like these experiences, they come and they go, so take these
But you have to
opportunities.
stoke that fire,
Yeah.
right? You didn't
Yeah.
allow the what ifs to just pour the fire out.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to stoke that flame.
Yeah, and the mind will give you all kinds of chatter. It'll get and
Excuses.
don't in the beginning expect that to get any quieter by any means, right?
Mhm.
So it's a little ping pong game. You just play that ping pong game, you just send it on back. Like, okay, yep, I got you. You know what? We're doing it anyway, doing it anyway. And if you listen to some people in the ultra running world or in the world where people have expanded their boundaries of like what's possible, they just don't listen to the mind anymore, right? Like I've heard Courtney Dauwalter talk about it, and Goggins and all these people. It's like, no, we're doing this. Like, and the mind goes, okay, I guess we're doing this, and the body shows up, you know. And so, don't expect your
Totally.
mind to always be on board for things that are unknown and uncertain. So
Exactly.
that's where the juice is. That's where the juice is.
All
So
right,
good,
let's wrap
so
this
good.
party up, lady.
So, what is the one thing? What is the, if you listen to nothing, we come to the end. What is the one thing we want to leave them with?
For
So,
me, the one thing is that if you pause for a moment and you think about your own life, is there an area where you feel dissatisfied?
mm, mm,
And if there is, it's time to say yes to something new in that area.
mm, mm,
Why live with the dissatisfaction? Makes no
mm.
sense.
Yeah, settling or dissatisfied. Yeah. Do you know in your heart of hearts and your spirit, like, it's good enough, it's settling, it's like, hell no. Like, this is one precious life. We just want to remind you, come out where the fruit is, come out on the fringe, and like, it's okay to take a detour. It's okay to take a left, to say no to, even if it's always been, quote, always been. It's always been this way, or this is how it is, right? It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be that way tomorrow. So,
No more white bread and no more, what's that lettuce that everybody eats? Iceberg lettuce living. No more
see,
white bread and
Caesar
iceberg lettuce
salads,
living and
Caesar
vanilla ice
salads.
cream. No more Caesar salads.
There's 32
Stop.
flavors. Like, try them
Come
all.
on.
Try them all. There's lots of countries out there, lots of people. Yes. And I just, I think your nice essence is like, you don't know what you're missing until you try it, right? And so take small opportunities to say yes to things. And especially like we talked about that big one for you, like your body was like, I'm a yes for Egypt. I want to go as soon as possible, right? There's
Mhm.
going to be those moments. Just follow it, trust it. Like, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to say yes to this, right? And then there's little moments of like, yeah, I'm
Grocery
gonna.
shopping and picking a different fruit,
Mhm.
vegetable, bread,
Yes, I love
whatever.
it.
Alternative milk. I mean, let's get radical.
So you help me with that because I go to the store, I pick a lot of the same things, and I love you come home with different stuff all the time. I'm like,
I'm
oh,
on a hunt. I'm a hunter in the grocery store. I gotta find it. Gotta
you're a
find the new
for
things.
you're a forager. I'm the
Totally.
laser. You're the forager. Oh, this is neat. What's this? So, all right, we're digressing. All right, what do we
All
want
right,
to
let's wrap it
remind?
up.
What do we want to remind them, my sweet sister, of?
Oh, how your life feels is more important than how it looks, you silly humans.
Yes, and every day is your opportunity to find your awesome.
All right, let's go get at it.
Cheers.
Love you, lady.
You too, sister.
Bye.
Bye.